Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Deep Cuts Live. My name is Damian Rodriguez, creator of Deep Cuts Live and Deep Cuts Music Reviews. These are videos that I make where I take new and rising artists and compare them to more established artists so that people can get a better idea of what they're all about. About 2 weeks ago, I profiled a really cool indie band from Brooklyn, New York called Coast Guard. Coast Guard have a really cool neo surf rock sound, and in the process of profiling Coast Guard, I made friends with their manager, Matt Jenner. So tonight, or today, wherever you're watching this, I'm going to have Matt on, and he's going to tell me a little bit more about, let's see, I'm going to press the button, bring Matt on camera. He's going to tell me more about artist management. Let's see. I got my, symbols, because I lost my connection kazoo. So let's see if this adds. Hello!
Hello, is this coming in clearly?
It's coming in clearly. Let me hit my connection symbols because we connected, and that's the hardest part. How are you doing, Matt?
Doing great, Damian. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. You're in Brooklyn, New York right now. How's the weather out
I
there?
Yeah, horrible raining. I already got some flash flood warnings on my phone this morning. I saw some videos of, all the subway stations are getting flooded. So, I'm taking it easy today. Just here to talk with you right now.
All right, let's bring it to a more pleasant topic than the weather because it's terrible. Tell me a little bit about
Definitely.
Dark Waters Management. You manage Coast Guard, who I did the Deep Cuts music review on a couple weeks back, and you're the
Mhm.
founder of Dark Waters Management, and you just had a 1 year anniversary,
That's right.
didn't you?
It's about to come up actually in a few days, the 19th of April. Yeah, just a few days from now will be the 1 year anniversary. So this is like a birthday gift.
Oh, happy anniversary and happy birthday.
Cheers. Thank you, thank you. It's good to be around for at least 1 year. It's just a personal goal. We haven't gone bankrupt yet, so that's really all you can really ask for.
The first of many years. Tell me a little bit about
Hopefully.
Dark Waters Management. Why did you start it? How did you start it? What brought it into fruition?
Sure. So, I spent the past 10, 12 years, traveling around the world, living around the world. I was raised outside of Baltimore. I then moved to France and then to the UK and then to LA and now here to Brooklyn. So it's been a wild ride, kind of, just, being in contact with people, networking constantly, and just meeting interesting people from all over the world. And so basically I took all my experiences, that I have, in different areas of the industry, doing A&R and social media and booking and all kinds of stuff. And so I kind of just decided, New York is the place to be, to kind of put all my experiences and all my contacts, together in one place. And so, about maybe 6 to 7 months after I moved here, I started to put the company together, and it all kind of, it started off, what do I want to, what kind of company do I want to make? What do I want this company to do? What do I want it to represent? What kind of artists am I looking to, to work with? And it all kind of, came together nicely. I reached out to friends. I reached out to new people that I had either never met before or that I had met just, once at a networking event or two. And they all, were willing and able to help me out, put it all together. And so I mean, the rest is history, right? So so that's basically how I got it started. And and so it's basically been on a good path ever since.
That's fantastic. This is Matt Jenner of Dark Waters Management. I don't have my lower thirds yet, but when I have my TV show, I'm going to just have your name come up across the bottom right here. But until then, I have to go
Right.
keep introducing you, Matt Jenner, Matt Jenner,
Right.
Matt Jenner. Why
Just
did
get the
you
name out there.
choose?
That's right.
That's right. Just say it and people remember. Why did you decide that you wanted to have your own management company? What was it inside you that said, this is my passion and this is what I want to do with my life?
Sure. So, as I said, I've been traveling around the world. I've worked in various aspects of the industry, in all the places where I've lived. But when I came to New York, I was applying for a job, showing them my resume, showing my CV, just trying to get my name out there, as everybody tries to do here in the city, and also when I was in LA as well. As you know, and as everybody can imagine, it's a very, very oversaturated industry. So you never know, like really. In my experience, there's always going to be somebody that the boss knows more than the boss knows the applicant knows you. And so, basically I was just getting frustrated with trying to find a job that I wanted to pursue, because I knew in my mind what I wanted to do. And so after a few shots of trying to find a job here in New York, I just basically decided, with everything that I have been through and all my experiences, I might as well just start my own company, doing exactly what I want to do and how I want to do it. And that's pretty much what happened. So that is how it kind of came into fruition. And so, yeah, that answers the question.
That's wonderful. I love hearing stories about people who follow their passion and who really go after the things that make them happy. And being an artist manager is for you, What is an artist manager? Because I feel like artist management and the industry, there's like this shadow and veil of mystique around it. But if you could break it down to what being an artist manager means to you, like not an industry definition, but a personal definition, what does it mean to you to be an artist manager?
Sure. So basically, to me, being an artist manager for an artist is to represent this artist through good times and bad times, and basically just to find as many opportunities as possible for the artist. My company, we specifically we work with many aspects of the industry, but we try to focus on A&R and marketing and PR, social media, tour booking, and gig booking, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like an umbrella. Management to me is like an umbrella of finding opportunities that relate to kind of all of those aspects, and kind of licensing as well is a huge one. Getting music and video games and movies and commercials and all kinds of stuff. And so it's really just taking my contacts and my experiences from people and places where I've worked around the world, and offering it as an opportunity to the artists that I'm working with, and just try and go on the right trajectory upwards.
What are some of the artists that you work with?
Some of the artists that I work with, most of my art, nobody is quite famous as of yet. We're working on it for sure. I'm working right now with several artists. Most of them are based here in New York City, but also working with one outside of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and also one outside of Cleveland. The kid I'm working with from Pennsylvania, his name is Sebastian Janowski. He was on season 7 of America's Got Talent. So he probably has gotten the most nationwide exposure from the artists that I'm working with now. He's an amazing singer-songwriter. He was on the show when he was just 13 or 14 years old. He's now 18. So I've been booking him shows in New York and in Pennsylvania, and I got him in New Jersey too. And now I believe he's actually going to be moving up to Boston he's going to start at Berkeley University, Berkeley College of Music. And so
the one on the East Coast.
That's right. He's coming. Yeah, he's coming a little more north. So basically that is, that's just one of the many artists I'm working with. He is an amazing singer-songwriter and instrumentalist. He has a fantastic voice. He sounds much older than he is, which really kind of blew my mind when I first saw him. And so artists like him and Tennille Janae, who's a new R&B artist that I'm working with. Tubi Fresco is the new rap and R&B and trap singer, trap artist that I'm working with. He's based out of Cleveland. I'm working with indie rock and electronic and all kinds of music. I'm open to working with all kinds of genres, as long as I know that I have contacts and that I can be potentially helpful for the artist. I don't just take on anybody that if I don't think I can actually help them. So that that's an important thing when an artist is looking for a manager. You want to make sure that you're able to find somebody who that you can help, and can be reciprocated, that the artist can help the manager, and so it all kind of works out together.
This is Matt Jenner of Dark Waters Management. I wanted to ask you because you and I have talked before, and I know you outside of Facebook Live, and you've been doing this for a while, so I'm sure you've seen a lot of things in your time in the industry. So for people who are looking to get an artist manager, tell them what a good artist manager should be doing for their clients.
Sure. There are lots, everybody's like very case specific, I would say. But overall, you definitely want to find a manager that has good connections, who has an amazing network, both in the city where you live, if you live in New York or LA, but also, a good network, outside of the city where you live, in smaller places, less visited cities and states, and, international territories. So that is super important. You want to find a manager that you get along with, you know, when you're interacting, you know, outside of music. You don't want it to, you know, it's good to talk business, but you know, it's also good to like have a personal, you know, relationship outside of business, so you can build like, you know, that level of trust, which is, you know, super important. You want to find somebody that's very trustworthy. You want to find somebody who believes in the music, who believes in like in the artist's vision. And so, you know, that amongst, you know, several other things. I mean, I can try to think of some other things that are, you know, super important. But I think overall, those are the first things that came to my mind as things that are, you know, for an artist looking for a manager, or, you know, are most important. And also being able to agree, you know, mutually agree on some sort of on a compensation deal, either like doing a commission-based thing, or if you're able to do like a monthly kind of retainer. You know, that's something that you have to work out. You know, the artist has to look at their finances, and the manager also has to look at his or her finances as well, and just make sure that everybody is happy and everybody can like go up equally. And we don't want the artist to go too fast, and we don't want the manager to grow too fast. But as long as everybody can grow equally, then I think that is like the best way to, you know, keep everybody on board and keep everybody moving along, you know, nicely.
That's really cool. It sounds like a symbiotic relationship, but also a relationship that's built in trust and friendship, as opposed to just being like 100% about the business. So you should really find a
Definitely.
manager
You hear,
that you like. Yeah.
I mean, I was just gonna say, I mean, you hear so many stories these days, you know, from like Rolling Stones and Nirvana, who have all these problems with, you know, management. You know, Nirvana obviously is not around anymore, but you know, they still have problems with contracts that were signed in the '90s. They still have problems with like licensing deals that were signed in the '90s. And so just because there was no communication and there was lack of trust between the managers and the artists. So I mean, that's why basically it's important to make sure everybody's like on the same page, you know, as much as possible, you know. Always.
Yeah. For artists who are
So I
on the
mean,
rise, who are
wait,
trying to
the way that
break out,
you put it is right. Sorry, go ahead.
what oh well, what should a rising or a young artist be doing to attract a manager? Should the artist be seeking out the manager, or will the manager seek out the artist if the artist is playing enough shows and generating enough buzz on their own?
Sure. That's a good question too. I would say, let me think. I would say that I personally have had artists reach out to me, and I have reached out to artists myself. So I mean, on my website personally, on darkwatersmanagement.com or darkwatersmgmt.com, if you want to check it out. We have an artist submit like a new artist submission form where people fill out their, you know, send me their all their social media sites, all their, you know, their best music, their best videos, give me an idea of, you know, places they've toured and all kinds of stuff like that. And so that's one way that they reach out to me, and then, you know, their music is sent over to me, and I make the final decision if you know, if we want to continue working, you know, if we want to start working with that artist or not. But also I have had, you know, artists that I'm working with have friends who contact me. I just the other day I was at a networking event where a roommate of somebody who I had met, you know, was in a band. So now he and I are in talks as well. So really all kinds of ways to find management. If you're an artist in New York City looking for management, I mean, I have people who reach out to me saying, you know, they typed in New York City management, enter, and then I pop. So that's, you know, definitely one way to do it. Just like getting, you know, the SEO, getting the Google, the AdWords and all that. So that's super important if you're actively looking for a manager. But also, you know, if you are an independent artist and, you know, and you're not sure if you're looking for management or not, just keep, you know, playing shows, get out there as much as possible, because A&R and management people will, you know, frequently will be in the audience, you know, coming to watch you without the artist even knowing, and then they'll reach out that way. And so, you know, I've been in touch with several artists like that as well. So, you know, it's just like a constant, it's just, you know, life is just a constant networking stream, right? So you're just trying to meet people and have people meet you, and, you know, and if it clicks, then it clicks, and if not, then, you know, you'll, you know, keep looking, you know. But the point is, don't give up, don't quit is the main point.
That's wonderful. I really like that. It's a positive message in an industry that often has a lot of negativity surrounding it. So I really love that message. Let's get to know you a little bit more, man.
Lots of
right? What were some artists and musicians that you listened to growing up? What shaped your taste in music? Like, were you a fan of Nirvana? Do you like classic rock? Were you a punk guy? What were you listening to
Sure.
in your adolescence?
Sure. I guess when I was growing up, I was just kind of more like, into the scene of the 90s. I did like Nirvana and some rock, but I also, then again, I listened to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC too, like whatever, was popular back in the day, which I'm sure lots of people watching this will agree with and know what I'm talking about. It was probably around when I moved to France is when I started to get my like true music, education, in terms of, listening to now these days I'm a huge classic rock fan. Zeppelin, The Doors, Pink Floyd, all that. That's basically what my go-to these days. But also, I love rock from the '90s, um, electronic music. These are my personal expertise and interests lie basically in different genres of rock and electronic music. So those are my personal go-tos basically when I'm not working.
Right.
But I've always been interested in listening to all kinds of music, and so I mean that kind of answers your question of who did I listen to growing up. It started off more like just the popular route, and then I kind of expanded from there when I started to do more traveling and when I lived overseas.
Yeah, because you've lived in so many countries and you actually speak six languages. So I think an artist who wants to work with you, like they definitely have the international base covered. How, like,
Yes.
do you just have an ear for language, or how do you speak English, French, Italian, Spanish,
Sure.
Russian, and I think I'm forgetting one.
German, if you must know, but it's okay.
Oh, German.
I've ever since I was young, I always had an ear for learning languages. I was able to learn and retain languages very quickly, which was enhanced by my constant love for traveling and my desire to travel internationally, which is how I ended up in France and traveling around Europe. And so basically, I do continue to be in touch with many of my contacts still in France and in Germany and the UK. To this day, I think some of them are watching right now. And so yeah, so I consider
Hello.
myself bilingual in English and French, but I have various amounts of several other languages too. So hopefully, once my artists are at their point in their career when they're able to, I'd love to expand their career, and I'd love to expand Dark Waters to an international audience. Um, and yes, thank you, Adam. And so yes, I would love to to just continue to grow and to use my contacts and my international background and my international my languages to spread the word basically of the artists and myself um, in Europe and around the world.
Something that always fascinates me, and I saw an interview with Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers with Larry King, where he said they got the name for their band by picking it off a name tree at a local Los Angeles park.
Yeah.
Dark Waters Management, where did the name for that come from?
Sure, I'm sure that question was going to be asked at some point. It always is. So basically, the name is taken from it's based off of my middle name, which anybody who knows me, they know that like I've not been a fan of my middle name ever since I was young. I guess I'll just tell the entire internet world. My middle name is Douglas, right? And so I was never a fan of that name. I wanted to get it changed. Sorry to anybody named Douglas who's watching this. It's cool now, but anyway, a few years ago, I was just
There's some Dougs that are
I
hate
was
typing.
online. Yeah, exactly. That's not a good start. It's not a good start for the Douglas community. And basically, I was on like namemeanings.com or whatever it was, and I typed in Douglas, and it turns out that the name Douglas comes from like ancient Scottish Gaelic, meaning from the dark waters. And so because the do part, D-O-U, apparently means dark, and glass stands for water. And so I kind of like the imagery of that. I liked the idea of that. And so that kind of stuck in my mind. And so when I was, putting the company together, trying to think of what a name, I had a few, different names. But Dark Waters kept on coming back in my mind, thinking of, how the logo should look and how everything should kind of flow, waters flow, how everything should flow together. So I ended up sticking with that name.
Patum
And so I exactly, exactly. So, I got lots of compliments always on the name and on the logo. I had an amazing guy back in Maryland who put together the website and built the logo and everything. So, I mean, we were working together on it. So it was really, yeah, I think everything turned out great with the website and the logo and how everything looks. And so I'm very happy with the name, and I'll stick with Douglas. I'll keep my middle name for now. Um, and yeah. So that's how I came up with Dark Waters.
Well, it's very cool, and it seems to be working out really nicely for you. If people in the New York area or anywhere around this internet connected world wanted to get in contact with you, Matt Jenner, or with Dark Waters Management, how would they be able to reach you and find out more about you?
Sure, you can find us on any of the major social medias, or on Facebook is Dark Waters Management. On Twitter is Dark Waters NY. No, sorry, Twitter is Dark Waters MGMT. Instagram is Dark Waters NYC. And you can find us online. I think I already said the website is Dark Waters Management or darkwatersmgmt.com. If you want to send me an email directly, you can either send it to hello@darkwatersmgmt.com, which is just the general email, or if you feel like it's more personal, it's my direct business email is mjenner@darkwatersmgmt.com. So, feel free to, if anybody's watching who, is interested in joining a management team, becoming an intern, or is also, interested in, becoming an artist that we work with, just definitely check out the website, get in touch. Like I said, we have an artist submission page on the website, but we also have for those who are starting out in the music industry who want to work in the management side of things. We have an internship situation happening with another form, like a Google Doc form where people can submit, tell me all about their background, their experiences, and so I've been working with several interns over the past year. And they've been incredibly helpful. Shout out to all my interns if you're watching this now.
Hey.
And hey, interns, what's up? Definitely. They've been definitely like indispensable to me. I try to do as much as I can by myself, but there definitely comes a point where I need like several other people to help out, to take the reins, because I only have 24 hours in the day like everybody else. So they've been very helpful. So if anybody is interested in, we do college credit, in receiving some college credit, then definitely reach out and let me know, and I'll be happy to get in touch.
Oh. Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you so much for taking your time every day to come and talk to us about Dark Waters Management and talking about what it means to have a manager and be a good manager. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you have a fabulous snowy or rainy day in Brooklyn, New York City.
Rainy. All right. Thank you so much, Damian. It was awesome to talk to you. Happy to, be in touch anytime.